What is up, everybody? It's Dean here from Our Gaming, and as per usual, we're going to be jumping into a ranked Theros Beyond Death draft. We've had very kind of fleeting luck in the best of one format. I think tonight maybe we draft best of three. Try and get our gem count back up. But we have opened a really kind of key pack here, and it's a card that I've played against several times, but it's a card that I've not played myself, and that's the Setesian Champion. So it's a really powerful card. So when it enters the battlefield, when an enchantment rather enters the battlefield under your control, you not only put a +1/+1 counter on Setesian Champion, but you also draw a card, and it's that card draw which is really key. Anything that sort of ramps you in terms of your hand or in terms of your mana is something that's going to be really key. So I think grabbing this will be a great start for us. Other notable mentions, Renata. It's an exceptional card. It can get really powerful and it buffs all of your other creatures. But for me here, I think taking the Setesian Champion, I've seen it win games, but like I say, it's a card that I've not played with myself yet in this set, so it'll be a good start. And we are quickly diverted off of green, but what we do get is a chance to pick up one of the best removal spells in the set, and that's Drag to the Underworld. So I'm more than happy to grab this here. Green-black is a viable deck. These two cards seem to be doing different things though slightly, in terms that black-green looks at the escape mechanic, whereas green, if you have it with blue or white, you're looking more of those enchantments, which is where Setesian Champion is kind of going. But that's not to say we can't pull it off. And in terms of this pick, it's a little bit tricky. So we are looking for more and more sort of enchantment-based creatures that we have in black with here, and here. But Loathsome Chimera is a nice card, but I think we do need to prioritise taking the enchantments, and so because of that, I'm going to go for Hateful Eidolon. Again, it's another kind of card draw engine, should we be able to pull it off. And wow, this is not so good. I mean, Aspect of Lamprey is fine, as is Underworld Charger. That neither card are exciting. Aspect of Lamprey kind of works well with the Setesian Champion, I guess, in terms that it's being buffed up and it's gaining that life. Do we take it? I think perhaps we do, and then try and get the Underworld Charger to either wheel or we just pick one up later. It should be easy enough. We are passing some really good kind of card draw spells though. Okay, so Omen of the Hunt is nice. It allows us to splash or just basically ramp our mana. It works really well with Setesian Champion. We're passing Hero of Nyxborn. It's another card I've not played with, but like I was saying, Boros is quite weak in this set. And Siona, you do need to be in that heavy sort of white-green deck, which is very much not where we're going to be. I mean, it looks like we're definitely playing black, and our green is looking fairly strong as well. So here again, not exactly kind of where we're wanting to be. White looks relatively open here. Can it knock us off of this kind of Drag to Underworld train? I think picking up a Binding of the Titans will be a nice start, and then we can kind of work from here. And to see Commanding Presence come round does very much. Hey Phil. Does very much want us to kind of perhaps veer into this white deck. Commanding Presence is an exceptional card, especially if we can stick it on a flyer. Works really well with the Setesian Champion. So yeah, maybe we will be going down this sort of green-white direction. In which case, Relentless Pursuit will be nice, as would the Nyxborn Colossus. It's just a big kind of hefty enchantment creature, and it kind of gets the job done. Okay, so just as I say that, however, white seems to be kind of drying up quite a lot. Grab the altar. I mean, we could splash for commanding presence. That's not kind of unthought of. Unknown Shores in the sideboard just to if we are kind of splashing. We wouldn't splash for either of these cards. I guess the Glory Bearers is an enchantment, so it does interact well with this Cetessian Champion, where we do want as many enchantments as possible. So, interestingly, it does look like we are in green, but we're just trying to settle on our second colour, whether that be white or whether that be black. And because of that, I think I'm going to grab the Chimera here. We do want Chimera. It's a big, kind of hefty creature. If we stick some the wings on it, give it flying, that would be extremely useful. We can always splash for commanding presence. It's a card I've splashed for previously, so we do know that works. And here, actually, we can't be passing up this Final Death. So between Final Death and Drag to the Underworld, these are two exceptional removal cards, and they will kind of hold us in good stead. So, having said that, what do we do here? So plenty of white cards are coming through, none of which we really are that interested in splashing, I guess. My only hesitation is that if we do play the Venomous Hierophant, how do we guarantee that we're not going to be putting Commanding Presence into the graveyard? But if we are playing black-green, I mean, you do want Venomous Hierophant. So it's a tricky situation. We're not going to be splashing for anything like Heliod's Punishment. It's a card that you really want to be playing if you're heavy white and you're kind of very aggressive. Now, although we are aggressive here, we're not as aggressive as that. We're not going to be attacking in until turn 3 or 4, something like that. And what I might do here is actually pick up the Rise to Glory. So again, we are kind of being very tentative on this white splash, but this is good in the late game. It could bring us back something like the Nyxborn Colossus, and then on top of it, just pad on the Commanding Presence, make it really powerful. So here it would either be a Traveler's Amulet, again looking to splash, or if we just kind of stick on the Venomous Hierophant train, get down another hefty creature that is hard to block, and I think that's what we're going to be doing. So suddenly we've gone kind of the complete polar opposite, and we've gone into these big heavy creatures, but that's fine with me. Picking up a Hydra's Growth, that's the card that I really like to play that other people are quite hesitant about. I mean, the Hydra's Growth does make one of your creatures a kind of a prime target for removal, but if we're playing the Cetessian Champion, our opponents are going to be wanting to kill it as soon as possible. So a third Venomous Hierophant? I don't know. I think grabbing a Harpy, making sure that I've got enough in the air, is kind of what I want to be doing here. An Unknown Shores. For the time being, we'll stick this in the sideboard. Pantheon for the same reason, or do we just grab the Temple Thief just to make sure we have got some cards to play early on? So this is looking nice. It's great to pick up a Soul Reaper. Soul Reaper is nice in case, so say... Cheers, Phil. Splash all the time, my friend. Splash all the time. So yeah, so I kind of guess for your benefit, splashing is where you... So typically you want to be playing kind of 2 colours when you're drafting cards. So here it's quite clear that our 2 colours are green and black. Splashing is where you just want to kind of play maybe a third colour, but not too much of it. The chances of you kind of drawing the mana to play them in the first place and then drawing those cards is quite slim. So you don't want to be kind of heavy 3 colours. It just makes it all round difficult for you to play those cards. Both of these cards are trash. We're not going to be playing either of them. And what do we have here? So in terms of white, the Eidolon of Obstruction, I've not had great success with it. I'd say all these are quite mediocre cards. Possibly one of the best is the Wayfarer, but we don't want to, if we are splashing for white, which means that we're going to get white mana not as much of the time. We don't want this as a one drop. It requires us to have white mana in our opening hand, which, you know, we're very kind of unlikely to have. So here I'm going to grab the Warbriar's Blessing. It's an excellent piece of removal. And again, it is another enchantment aura which works really well with what we're trying to be doing, buffing up this Setesian Champion, so this rare card. Also, we can get it back with Rise to Glory, which means that in the late game it becomes yet another removal spell. So very happy to have that. Now here, Thassa's Intervention is great, but it's a double blue card. We can't possibly splash for it. Daxos, again, another double white card. We don't really want to be splashing for double white cards. But what I would grab here, and although it would be great to pick a Setesian Champion, it gives our creature trample, and it also allows us to draw a card. But here I think I'm going to pick up the Entrancing Lyre. So it's a card we've not played with in a while. We've hardly seen it. But what it does do, it allows us to tap down one of our opponent's creatures. So we can tap down their most powerful creature and more or less get it out of the game. They can't play with it, they can't block with it, and they can't attack with it. I think they still can use its abilities though, so we need to be careful about that. We don't want another Venomous Hierophant. We've already got two, and I think there is a danger of putting too many cards into our graveyard. So here I'm going to pick up Gary. Gary is an excellent card. We're going to have quite a lot of black mana down. Not the most in the world, but what this does allow us to do, it allows us just getting that kind of incremental damage, especially in the late game. And I think that is good enough. I mean, it might just kind of get us those last 3 or 4 points should we need it. So now we have got 23 cards, which is kind of enough for a deck. But can we pick cards which are slightly better? Just to sort of fine-tune our deck, and now we are given a really harsh decision to make, and that's whether or not we take Tymaret or whether we take Maya's Grasp. So Maya's Grasp is a common card, but it's a very for 2 mana. It can kill a 3-drop, a 4-drop. In some cases, it can kill a 5-drop, and anything that's got sort of 3 health. So, for example, the Venomous Hierophant. It can kill the Venomous Hierophant. I've just noticed that I haven't got many 4-drop creatures, which is a little bit of a concern, but we can make that up surely. So yeah, this is an exceptional card. I'd love to have it in any of my black decks, but sadly it's in the same pack as Tymaret. And Tymaret, although it kind of doesn't look much from the outset, the fact that it can exile cards from your opponent's graveyard is actually huge. There's so many times in this set that recursion does matter. So, for example, if a creature dies, they can get it back and kind of bigger and badder than ever. And so a perfect example of that is the Loathsome Chimera. So you can pay 5 mana to get this out of your graveyard, and it comes back as a 5/2. Of course, if it's in the graveyard and we exile it with Tymaret, it can't possibly come back. I know, mate. It's these Savage decisions that keep us going, though, isn't it? So here actually, I'm gonna be grabbing Tymaret. Although we are missing this excellent piece of removal, which we can get back with Rise to Glory. I think we're gonna have to settle here. So now we need to start thinking about making some cuts in the deck, as we do like to try and play 40 cards max, and we still need to add our lands in. Here there's absolutely nothing for us. The only card of note is the Huntmaster. It is a 4-drop though, which we were talking about, but it's not an enchantment, so it doesn't work really well with our game plan. Okay, so here we have a choice between Mystic Repeal, which is a nice little bit of removal. There's lots of enchantments in this set, as we know, and also the Nessian Hornbeetle, which grows depending on if you have creatures with power 4 or greater. So a quick look through our deck so far, and we have 1, 2, 3 creatures with power 4 or greater. So although this is an exceptional card, it doesn't work very well in our deck, and so I think it's going to be the Mystic Repeal. Okay, so we were able to grab the Setesian Training in the end, which is nice. Omen of the Hunt we already have one of. Remember, with the Omen of the Hunt, we can go and search out a basic land card that from our entire library. So this will help us splash for white. We can just go and grab a white card, and that's great. But we don't want two of them. I don't think we're going to be playing the Grim Physician, so we can pop that in the sideboard. And yeah, it looks like black-green is drying up. It looks like we've taken all of the black-green cards. We've already got one Rage Scarred Berserker. Don't need two. Although in the last draft, our opponents did play two. We couldn't get around them. They're just so kind of big, hefty creatures. Okay. So our deck is actually looking quite good. I'm quite happy with it. So if we pick some decent sleeves, and we have only 13 creatures and 13 kind of other cards. Now, the fact that we've only got 13 creatures doesn't bother me too much. This set is actually quite slow, and when we do have creatures, we've got very much a lot to do with them. I'm half wondering whether... So, I was going to cut the Temple Thief, but actually with only 13 creatures, I don't think that's the best thing for us to be doing. So what can I potentially cut here? Hydra's Growth is a card which I seem to like. Nobody else seems to like it. But it does get us in there. It is a tough one. Maybe we just cut it for the time being, and also we think about cutting Setesian Training. Warbride's Blessing is just such a better card than it. Okay, so perhaps I need to grab another creature here. So the Huntmaster, and it does kind of shore up that 4-drop slot as we was talking about. So now I've got 14 creatures, but I've got 11 kind of non-creatures. Ideally, we want to be playing something along the lines of 40 or 41 cards. So we should be making another cut here. Things that so let's say if we were to kind of just put all of our creatures together and have a look at our non-creature spells, because we know that we're playing these creatures, right? But then we can see what. So we know that we're playing all of these, and that's perfectly fine. We're playing this, playing the Huntmaster. So Commanding Presence goes here. Aspect of Lamprey. Okay, Rage Scarred Berserker and Gary. So these are our sort of non-creatures in these two piles here. Mystic Repeal, I just feel that it's good enough to stay in the deck. But having said that, it is potentially one of the weakest we do have. Maybe we get rid of the Aspect. Maybe that's something that we don't need, and just kind of work around it. The life gain isn't non-significant, but it's not the be-all and end-all. It's not like we've got sort of big flyers that we can put the life gain on to make sure we get in for that damage. So I think I'm happy. With this, and because it feels like the 100th time we've played black-green, we'll go for black-green again and see whether or not we can pick up some wins. So thank you very much for sticking around for this sort of drafting section, and I hope you can also stick around for some of the games. Well, hopefully we won't be going 0-3 drop. So just while we're finding the opponent, thank you very much for the support you've been giving us on YouTube and Twitch lately. You can find us on YouTube at Our Gaming. Consider following it. We try to upload some drafts most days. We're also going to get in some Battlefield content up there for those of you that enjoy that. And at Twitch, it's Ardeen. Also streaming most days, either kind of early in the morning or late at night UK time. So not the best opening hand that we've ever had. We are able to kind of play off Omen of the Hunt on turn 3, and then we have some nice kind of turn 4s and turn 5s. So what I always say is that I'm happy to keep a hand when I'm on the play. So when I'm playing first, I'm happy to keep a hand if I can get that sort of turn 3 out. So let's stick with this. Oppo is deciding which cards. So Oppo Mulligan, they went down to 6 cards. They did not like their opening hand. And we've got a Rise to Glory very early on. It's something that we probably won't be wanting to play out too soon. So we need a aura and a creature basically in the graveyard. Now this isn't ideal for us. It's not ideal at all. What I might do is play out Relentless Pursuit. Maybe we... I'm not sure. I'm going to play out Relentless Pursuit. And I'm going to grab the Rage-Scarred Berserker and the Plains. So that's quite nice in that now we're giving our opponent less cards to kind of choose from in the graveyard. So when this dies, it's very easy to kill. And the 3 power kind of makes you want to kill it. When it dies, it exiles one of the cards from your graveyard. So we're going to play out the... We don't really want them to exile the Chimera, so we're going to play out the Hierophant. Oppo's got a counterspell, Deny the Divine. I wasn't expecting that. That's interesting. So what do I do now then? What do I do now? Oppo gets their 4th land and a Triton Wave Rider. So this is nice for me. I'm going to play out. So it's not mana efficient, but I'm going to play out the Harpy. Just get rid of that from their graveyard. And now, if they do want to attack with the Leonin, they have to trade with something kind of quite mediocre, such as the Harpy, and that's what they're doing. So this holds us in slightly better stead. I must admit though that we are behind a little bit now. We're only down to 11 life. Okay, hopefully they don't have another one to play out, or that will be trouble for us. And it seems they don't. So here I'm happy to play out the Chimera. Do they have another counterspell? Wow. Okay. Okay. That's fine. I'd rather get them out of the hands now before we kind of play our kind of big boys, but I am surprised they're playing 2 Deny the Divines. Surely they can't have any more. So Oppo goes in for attack. They get 3 damage and we go down to 8. Not so good at all. Now, Nyxborn Seaguard. So we're not going to be able to get through that. Play out our Omen of the Hunt and go and grab another basic land. We'll grab the Swamp. And hopefully we can draw into something quite useful. So the Entrancing Lyre. I'm going to play out the Berserker just because I want this to be on the battlefield before they do anything else. Now, if they do have any sort of enchantments, if they have Dreadful Apathy or anything like that. Okay. So so when an enchantment enters the battlefield that has kind of when an enchantment enters the battlefield, it gives this flying. So that's kind of what happened there. And I think we're going to see our first loss. I can't see a way of... so we can have these 2 trade. And that's fine. We can gain a little bit of life. So perhaps we do that now. So we gain 3 life by playing Gary. Oppo loses 3 life. We gain 3 life. And we pass the turn. So let's see what Oppo has here. They've had some really kind of... They played their Deny the Divines at really key stages. Which, although it's not kind of the best card in the set, when it does kind of stop a couple of your kind of key cards coming down, such as the Venomous Hierophant and the Loathsome Chimera, it does kind of put you on the back foot a little bit. So Daybreak Chimera is good for Oppo. It's another flying creature that I have to deal with. And drawing lands does not help me deal with them, sadly. Okay, so we're gonna have to pay 3 and tap this down. We'll play out our planes, and we have to pass the turn. So on our opponent's kind of end step, we'll scry just to kind of see what cards we've got coming up. But in all honesty, okay, so yet another flyer for Oppo. They've kind of been waiting on their flyers. In all honesty, if we don't start drawing into some removal spells, we're going to be in a bad time. And although I love to have Timuret here, neither of these cards will do it for us. So let's okay, so we decline. And look at that. Just when we need a removal spell, we grab a forest. So I'm gonna have to pass here. Oppo will get in for at least 2 damage, potentially more. If they're playing enchantment, I think they've basically won the game. Okay. So we get another chance here, and this is nice in that we can get rid of one of their enchantments, but it's nowhere near enough. The only enchantments they have are Calliope and the Sea Guard, neither of which fly, and now they're just kind of swamping the board with even more flyers. They just need to play one more enchantment. No, they don't. They just need to play all their flyers. We'll give them the GGs. Show them that we had Mystic Repeal. And that's perfectly fine. Can't do anything about that. So we're going to go on to the next game. That's the problem with the blue-white deck. If you don't have the ability to start getting in that incremental damage really early on, you are going to lose to the flyers. Now that's not a problem. We do have lots of removal in the deck. It's just that we didn't find any. What we did find though was lots and lots of lands. Now I would cut a land, but we are playing against lots of creatures that have we've got lots of creatures in our deck that require kind of 5 or so mana. So we do want to be making sure that we are hitting that mana. So I think having 17 lands is enough. Now we do have the Green Omen, so perhaps we can consider cutting down one of the lands. Let's see how this game goes, and then we can make that decision afterwards. But if not, it might be a very quick draft today. Okay, so this is nice. So we have a 2-drop, and all we need to do is grab another land, and then we're kind of away quite well. Oppo mulliganed, I think I saw. Did they mulligan twice? Okay, so they've gone down to 5 lands, which is excellent for us. 5 cards, rather. I know, Phil. Sometimes you've got to take those losses, though, right? It's about how you bounce back from the losses that is key. Obviously, it's difficult to bounce back sometimes when Oppo has such big creatures as this. So what we're going to have to do here is I'm going to play out the planes just to make sure we have it. And I'm going to play out the Grove Dancer. So now Oppo can't attack unless they play a creature that's got 4 or more power, which is very easy to do in red-green. Or they can do that. That's lovely. Okay, so here I have options. I can either do the Binding of the Titans. Remember, Oppo is already kind of strapped for what they have. So, or I can just play out the Hierophant. And I think actually having the Hierophant down is better for us. Okay. Just because if they are able to start attacking Mindset Champion, if they are able to start attacking with the Warden, which apparently they're not, then we can just block with the Hierophant. So Oppo seems to be kind of stuck for lands. Sadly, we can't really attack in unless we do attack in with the Hierophant. Now that is the option. What do we think here? I think that we... Okay. So I think here what I do is I play the Huntmaster. And I... So what's this? It gives... I'm going to give that to the Hierophant. And now Oppo has the opportunity to either trade with the Hierophant, which they do. Okay, wow. I didn't expect them to do that in all honesty. Because now they draw the land probably that they wanted. Okay, so Maya's Grasp. Oppo is getting a little bit desperate. They're using a lot of the sort of... they're using a lot of the removal spells, which they possibly wouldn't normally do if they had the time and the cards. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some cards in opponent's graveyard, and we're going to play out the Harpy, so I can exile one of Oppo's cards. Probably going to exile the Warden just in case they've got a way of recurring that with a Omen of the Dead, which you sometimes play when you have a swamp. I'm going to attack him for 2. And I'm just going to play out this forest just to make sure that I've got enough creatures there. Just enough mana in case we draw one of our big creatures. Now the Forerunner is a very good card for Oppo. And we seem to just be drawing into... lands again now, which is a habit we do want to get out of. Now, the good thing about this is that I can return a target creature next turn from my graveyard to my hand. And we do have this big boy in the graveyard, so we can grab that back, which is nice. I'm going to just play out the Grey Merchant here. Deal 3 damage. And going to go in with a Flyer. So remember, they can't block that. And then if they do attack with the Forerunner next turn... Cheers, Phil. Always appreciate having the advice. I'm going to double block here. So, unless they have a trick, they will kill one of these. And that's fine, you know. If I do get a trick out of the hand as well, that's another card that they lose. And now they're using a Final Death on a creature, such as that. And as we mentioned, although we go down to 23 life, we're in a very good position. This turn we get to grab back the Nyxborn Colossus. And we're going to play this out. It's a big boy, and I don't think they can get around it. Let's just play that on that second plains. Now, if they do have another removal spell for the Nyxborn, we would be in trouble. But at the minute, they don't seem to. And this is good. That's an excellent sort of removal spell. I wonder if I go in with both and try and get a sort of a double block. I think I do. So let's... They can attack, they can block with this, so they could potentially take that down. Okay, so this looks great. I'm going to cast Drag to the Underworld on the Forerunner, killing it, and we get a little 2 for 2 there. But what that means is that Oppo no longer has definitely try and beat them. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So Oppo now, they need to probably play out the Rage Hound just to get a blocker in. If they don't get a blocker in, they will die in the next couple of turns. Okay. So they do grab a Warden of the Chained, which now the game's now the game has changed slightly. Okay, so Oppo is forced to attack with this next turn. Let's see what they do. Okay, so I almost feel like I see, that's weird because I don't need to block them. So if I take a... Okay. Oppo got bored of me making informed decisions and just quit instead. That seems fair. So we pick up the first win of the morning. Now, again, the deck didn't really perform as fast as I'd like it to. I feel like we're missing something in the early game to really kind of get us going. I'm not entirely sure what that is. Potentially something like a Hateful Eidolon. Did we pick one up? In fact, I think we did pick one up, didn't we? Okay, so this is quite nice. So opponent goes first, which means we're on the draw. So I think we have something like a 78% chance or something similar to be drawing into that third land, which will allow us to play the Chimera at least, or the Relentless Pursuit, or the Champion. But we do need to pick up black at some point. Okay, so yeah, it's not a true win when your opponent starts off with half the cards that you did, right? I can appreciate that. Okay, so ironically, this is a bit of a pain now because if I play out the Chimera, I've got a perfect block, but they just exile it, and that's not what we want to be doing with the Chimera. So I think I just take the turn off, do the Relentless Pursuit. This is very annoying, and just grab these two. So what do I do now? I think I can actually get rid of. I can get rid of this plains. We are looking for black mana. Oppo attacks him. Do they? Ooh, they didn't attack him. You should attack him, Oppo. I can't block you. So it looks like Oppo is short on mana. I get the black mana, which is really, really great. So what do I want to play out here? I think I I'll play out the Hierophant. Okay, so we lose Gary there, but that's fine. It's not the be all and end all. And what we can do next turn is, if they don't have anything else, we can possibly let them in for 3 damage here. Okay, so I think I'm going to let them in for 3 damage. Oh no, I think they do have another spell. That's okay. I was going to say that seems quite wasteful, but I think I know why they did that. Here, I'm going to what should I do here? Here I'm going to play out the Entrancing Lyre and tap this down for... Cheers, Phil. I'll catch you later, my friends. Have a good day. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, so we're going for 3. Now, we need to try and reel in now some of the sort of damage that Oppo did with that. So I think what we can do is we can take that action. We play out the forest, and so if we go for the Scavenger Harpy, and we can start entrancing down the Rage Hound, at least until we have something that can block it, and boom, we go in for 3. Oppo can't scry with this. They get the 3rd land, and that's excellent for our opponent. Are they going to go in with the Oracle and trade with the Harpy? It looks like they are. Now that is a fine trade for us. So this does go to the... Oh, so it's when it enters, isn't it? Of course. So I'm not going to tap that down. What I will do now, though, is play out the Champion. And play out the Chimera. All the good things. And we're going to go in for 3. Okay. So they are now scrying into trying to find something a little bit bigger and better. Importantly, though, we're going to be, whatever it is, we're going to be casting the Warbride's Blessing next turn, buffing this up, drawing a card, killing whatever they play, all the good things. Unless they're focusing on the Champion. Now, we did have a slower start, but Texas Legend has got a lot to decide with now. Come on, Oppo, what are you thinking? Okay. Has Oppo thrown the toys out of the pram? Temple Thief. They decided on Temple Thief. So I'm gonna... I mean, if I did, I could just hit with... 3, 7... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Let's do that actually. Let's just tap this down. Play the Rayscar Berserker. And hit in. And now Oppo has to attack with this turn, and I can just block with the Rayscar Berserker. They won't have enough creatures in the battlefield to do anything about it, bring it back like. And if they did, I'd just tap it down, attacking for the win. So I think that does get us the victory there. Oppo scoops. And yeah, so we're picking up a little bit of speed now. We had a very rocky start with that first loss. But we're going into game 4, and hopefully in game 4 we will be able to keep our foot down on the pedal. Azure Forest. Great name, actually. So let's see. This is not a hand that we can keep, so we need to mulligan. It's a little bit better. It's by far not the... definitely not the be-all and end-all. Okay. So we'll keep this and we'll get rid of the Huntmaster. Oppo is deciding whether to keep 7 or to mulligan down to 6. They kept 7. So we'll keep this 6 and we'll put the Huntmaster on the bottom of our deck. We'll start off with a Swamp and we'd need to get to the Hierophant as soon as possible. It's going to be a little bit of a race with Oppo. This doesn't help us. We need lower mana cards to play. I really just don't like mulliganing down to 5. I think your win percentage, technically, from a statistical standpoint, drops drastically. Okay, so Oppo gets the Temple Thief down. We can go in for Tymaret, so I'm happy with that. Oppo, of course, can attack in, and that would be a great attack in for Oppo. Second Temple Thief. And a Hateful Eidolon. Okay. So suddenly this becomes a lot more attractive. So I could go Commanding Presence now. And if I did, that would put me in great stead. I wonder. I think I will. I'm going to go Commanding Presence. And I'm going to attack in for 4. Beautiful. So I get rid of one of the Temple Thieves. Remember that the Temple Thieves could have attacked in because they can't. I can't block with Tymaret. Now, Oppo goes for Aspect of Lamprey, which is interesting. So I need to get rid of these 2 cards, and now it's almost if I did start with 5. Okay, so I'm going to go in for another attack here, I think, just to keep up the... Is Oppo going to trade? They're not going to get... I mean, that's a good trade, Oppo, but you're not going to get the lifelink, sadly. You do draw a card, though, which is fine. And for me, I'm going to play out the Venomous Hierophant. So it stops the Hateful Eidolon attacking. It fills up my graveyard. Okay, it would have been nice to grab the binding. It does show Oppo we are playing green. And it probably indicates to him that we are splashing for the Commanding Presence. So now Oppo is on Final Death mana. A Commanding Presence of their own, interesting. Sentinel's Eyes as well. Beautiful for Oppo. No blocks here. Okay. How very interesting. Play out the Venomous Hierophant. There's all the green mana. And we pass, I believe. So, Dawn Evangel. Okay, 2 or less. So they can bring this back. Revoke Existence, nice. So if they do attack, we double block with the Hierophant. Okay, so this is a very fair trade for us. They kill one of the Hierophants, but we have enough left in order to kill off the Eidolon. All those good things in life. What do they get back? They get back the Eidolon, which is fine. Give you add to your hand. So lots of cards being drawn here. Oppo gets an entire new grip from that. Play out the Eidolon. And we are stuck. We're stuck for green mana, which is interesting because I think we've got more green mana than anything else. Oppo did very well to get all that life gain back with the Commanding Presence. Have they got a second one? If they do, I think we're done. Okay, so Sentinel's Eyes. Lampad. They could play out the Temple Thief as well. I think we just trade these off. I honestly do. Draw a card. Bring back Temple Thief. Oppo's got some excellent recursion in their deck, and it's something which I don't feel we can do too much about, in all honesty. They're going to play 2 Temple Thieves down, and they have a whole host of blockers for next turn. I'm just here on this sort of Scavenger Harpy train. I can get rid of Sentinel's Eyes, but that's about it. Which is alright for us, and I can trade off with at least one of these cards. Possibly going to be the Temple Thief. It's the hardest one for us to block, especially with the rest of the cards in our deck, which are enchantments or enchantment creatures. I mean, Oppo's it's a no-brainer here, Oppo. You have to attack in. Just swing with all, I would say. Aspect of Lamprey. So now this does make this attractive to block, I must admit. Okay. I feel like Oppo's working a little bit too hard here. I mean, they definitely have the win, right? They definitely have the win. Okay, that's lovely. Lovely, lovely. GG. 1, 2, 3. So they conceding because they're essentially attacking, and then they sacrifice all their creatures with the Lampad. So very much screwed for green mana then. I think a part of it was that I screwed myself by having the Venomous Hierophant. But that's fine. Let's have another check of the mana. So we do have 14. I think the fact that we've got the Omen and the Relentless Pursuit means that I don't need as many. I think I can cut down on one of the planes. Maybe it's the fact that I'm not using the fancy mana. What do you think? Maybe if we put the fancy mana on, then suddenly we play better. Beautiful. Fancy mana all day long. We can be the people with all the gear, but sadly no idea. And let's jump in. So we're going to go to game 5. It could potentially be the last game of the morning, but that's fine. If that is the case, we'll stream a little bit of standard. Okay, remember we will be drafting more this afternoon. Thinking about going to best of 3, but we can see. This is nice. This is nice. So we get a 2-drop and a 3-drop. We get all 3 of our colours. Boom. And the Entrancing Lyre, which can start to hold Oppo back for a little bit. Let's see what they do. So they go blue. Transcendent Envoy. Okay. So that's nice. So we can attack him. Oppo can't block that. And I think here we actually do just play out the Lyre. End the turn. So now if Oppo does try to play something on top of the Envoy, you know, one of the auras, Sentinel's Eyes, Staggering Insight, something like that, it does give us a target to kind of start to blank. We're getting closer to Gary. Sage of Mystery is interesting. And now they're going to go for Staggering Eyes, I believe, on the Envoy. No, they're not. Okay. So this is interesting. I think I'm going to attack him first. Okay. And then I'm going to tap that down for 1. And it loses a little bit of value, but we're going to go for the Scavenger Harpy. Okay, so Omen of the Sea for Oppo. They're going to scry, draw a card, all the good things. Okay. Now that's fine for me, because if they want to keep putting cards in my graveyard, that'll just fuel my Chimera. 2 on the top for Oppo. What's Jericho thinking? Okay, so the Pegasus is, I think, yes, I think take action. And so this card is good for us at the minute. We're going to be tapping down the Pegasus. This becomes a right pain to try and deal with. And we will attack him with both for 4. Oppo can block the Temple Thief, of course. And we pass the turn. So if Oppo does start to mill us more, we've got Rise to Glory, we've got enough mana. Shimmering Chimera. Okay. Okay, so Oppo lost their Staggering Insight, which is big game for them. Staggering Insight is relatively powerful. So here I think, what do I do? It's a shame that Oppo stopped milling us, because that was becoming quite useful. I think I do take action here. Oppo could get some life gain back next turn, I guess. But okay, so the Venomous Hierophant is nice. I think what I do here is I tap down the... I think I have to tap down the Envoy, don't I? Because I don't want that trading with the Harpy. And we'll go in for 4. See what Oppo decides to do. So Oppo decides to take it. So let's go for the Venomous Hierophant. Commanding Presence. Okay, that's good. That's good for us. That is good for us. So next turn we can bring back the... So what have we got here? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I swing next turn, Oppo could gain a little bit of life, of course. Let's put the ball back in their court and then see what happens. We could finish the game with Gary. Just a quick reminder, we're sadly 2 wins, 2 losses. So we are playing down to the wire now. A Commanding Presence on the Sunmane Pegasus will not be ideal for us. Okay, that's interesting. What have you got, Oppo? Oh, I don't like that one little bit. Okay, so... Let's take action. Okay. I think we're going to try and tap this down. See if Oppo kind of flashes in anything to go on top of it. How strange. Okay. So let's send everyone in. See what happens. Omen of the Sun, perhaps? A couple of blockers? Yeah? Okay. Are you milling me? Or are you milling you? You're milling me, okay. I'm more than happy for you to mill me, Oppo. So they can kill the Temple Thief. But I will deal 5 damage to them. And that seems good for me. They're flashing the Omen of the Sea. Obviously, they can mill me a little bit more. What are we going down to? 20. All the good things are happening, Oppo. Okay. So, now, if they do attack in... So, with the Chimera, what I'm assuming they will do is bring Omen of the Sun back to their hand. So, that's fine, because if they do... All I would... if they do that, they will probably attack him with the Chimera. Okay, so Omen of the Sun back to their hand. Beautiful. They will probably attack him with the Chimera because they know they're not blocking the Harpy anyway. And if that is the case, all I need to do is tap down the Transcendent Envoy. And... Oh no, because they gain life, don't they, with the... they gain life with this. That's annoying. Now, what are you going for, Oppo? A Commanding Presence, probably? Dreadful Apathy. Nice. What are you casting Dreadful Apathy on? If you cast it on the Hierophant, I think I win. Attacking it with both. That's interesting. What do I do here, then? So I think I decline. So this puts me in a less than ideal spot now. Actually, no, it's fine because I can go for... What I can do here, actually... Now, do they have a Deny the Divine is the question. If they do, there's nothing I can do about it. Let's play this out and see what happens. So I'm going to go for Temple Thief just purely because I want the... Beautiful. And I pop that on here. Attacking with both. Oppo plays the Omen of the Sun. So now I'm in a relatively good position. Oppo does gain that life. I lose the final death, which is a little bit annoying. But they have to make some decent blocks here. Okay. A 3-for-1. I'm happy with that. So, the reason being that we had to do that with the... to bring back the Temple Thief is because I'm going to play out Gary next turn. So they are going to gain another 2 life. But let's see. It all depends on whether or not they attack. And whether they activate the... So they're going to go for the Dreadful Apathy on the Scavenger Harpy. Okay. That's a slightly different ballgame. Could we have just lost this game? I don't think so, because... No, we haven't lost it, because... So we decline there. And we can even play out... We can play out the Hateful Eidolon. Then go for Gary. Boom. Nice. So yeah, so getting the Temple Thief back there was the kind of what-if scenario, just in case. But having the Sun's Archon, huge card. It's a game winner if you can get it out, but obviously Oppo was digging for it as much as they could. Weren't able to get it. So... Now we're going to kind of... I honestly saw this deck being at least 5 wins, if not 6. But we go into Game 6 with 3 wins and 2 losses. So not ideal start for us today. Like I say, if we go out now, we can play a little bit of standard, try and up our rank. Remember, we are on the road to mythic with that. It'd be good to, by the end of February, try and get up to that mythic spot. End of March rather. End of February we failed. we weren't really playing there. We weren't really playing standard in February actually. We're just toying around with a few decks, mainly mono red. But the issue is, I mean, you can play this sort of Mengo's list that I'm playing, and the games can take, you know, like 25 minutes, half an hour, or you can just kind of play mono red best of one and get those wins really quickly, but it's less fun. So I guess it's kind of different strokes depending on what you really want to be doing, whether you're just trying to ramp up or whether you're trying to enjoy the game and have a bit of a laugh with it. Okay, but ironically, our deck does really well against red, mono red. Okay, so this is a decent starting hand. Again, we are shy of our green, but that's fine. Okay, so Oppo gets a turn 1 Eidolon. We're going to go for Tymaret turn 1. Maya's Grasp. Okay. Oppo gains that life. And we go for our Temple Thief as well. I wonder if Oppo would have played out the Maya's Grasp even if it wasn't Tymaret. Scavenger Harpy to get rid of Tymaret, not to be brought back. Decent. Okay, so strangely, we don't have any of our green mana yet. We're going to put 3 of those into the graveyard. Well, that's slightly annoying, isn't it? I think I can go in here. Fine with this trade if it happens. No. Okay, so we'd lost the Commanding Presence in Gary. That's fine. Remember, we do have the Rise to Glory. Aspect of Lamprey. Okay, so I think we go for... I mean, one of the reasons why we want Relentless Pursuit, right, is so that we can help ramp into our white mana, which we've already got. So I think here, I'm going to go for Relentless Pursuit and Mystic Repeal. Okay. Omen of the Hunt. We're really strapped for this green mana. Oppo's only just... Oppo's... Okay, wow. Okay. Card draw engine with the Hateful Eidolon is fantastic for them. And it looks like we might now be seeing the draft out. Soul Reaper is good, that can attack in. Okay. Give them a sarcastic GG to let them know that we are strapped for mana. They must know that we are after green. We need to take 4 here. No blocks. There's no point in us attacking in because they just gain 1 of those lives back with the Eidolon, and we don't really get anywhere except for we lose 2 more life. So we've got a Soul Reaper. And now our blocks are a little bit better. We're on a 5-turn clock. Again, I'm not entirely sure how we will deal with the Harpy. Oppo just attacks him for 2. And they play out the Venomous Hierophant. Okay, so a 3rd Maya's Grasp. Nice. Let's pass the turn here. This is an interesting one because I'm not entirely sure how we should block here. So they've got 3 Maya's Grasps and the Final Death. Very good, very powerful. Morgus's Favor is good. So what are we looking at here? Pass the blocks. Do I do this? I guess I can. Oppo draws a card. And I think that sees us out, everyone. Ha! They can do the Mogis' favour just to finish it off, can't they? Ha! Brilliant. Go on. Sacrifice a creature. Draw that card. Oh, brilliant. Okay. Give our Oppo the GGs. And we concede. We can't possibly beat that. 3 Midas Grasp, Mogis' Favour, Dreadful Apathy, and whatever else they had in the last 25 cards in their deck. Well, that was the draft today, everyone. A very short video. We didn't really get that far. It's very disappointing. We weren't able to play out the Sessian Champion enough. It hardly came up in the drafts. Tymoret wasn't able to do Tymoret things. Warbride's Blessing didn't make a difference, and Transglaia was a warhorse in the penultimate game. Drag to the Underworld got us a 2-for-1. Commanding Presence is good as ever, and Rise to Glory always comes in when you need it. Hateful Eidolon, notably absent throughout the entire game, and I think I milled the Binding of the Titans more often than I played it. So thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. A very quick draft this morning, but hopefully we'll be back this afternoon and this evening, drafting some more. Might even be going back to best of 3, just see how we go. We was able to grab quite a lot of our gems in that best of 3, so we might go back there. But for those of you watching on YouTube, thank you very much. Feel free to drop us a comment, and remember to sort of like and subscribe, follow us on YouTube, and if you that's our gaming, and for Twitch it's our Dean. We stream most days, and we try to upload videos to YouTube most days as well. So thank you very much, everyone, and I will catch you later.